welcome. I know a lot of you guys are new. My name's John. I'm one of the co-organizers. Mark, the other organizer, is not here this week. And then there's Peter, who graciously sets up the space for us and also hosts. Peter, our speaker, will be here in a minute. There he is. I don't really have any housekeeping outside of saying that the lovely refreshments out here have been graciously provided by Susan Grijo of SG2 Recruiting. If you're looking for a job, especially with a security clearance, I know Susie would be extremely happy to talk to you after this. And hopefully she'll find you that next awesome job. Outside of that, I'll let Peter finish getting set up. He'll explain more what it is he will be talking about. Next month, Arthur, sorry, I'm sorry. No problem. It's still too early in the morning. Next month, I will be, unless somebody has something they would really like to talk about, I am always open for suggestions on topics. I know most of you found this on Meetup. My name's John Kennedy. Send me a message on Meetup if you have a subject you'd like to and be willing to talk about. But next month, I will be talking about Amazon Web Services and their free tier. What all is included in the free tier, how to get signed up, and kind of how AWS works in general. But I'm happy to let somebody else take next month and have it like it's an encore.
I just need someone to wear the microphone.
While talking now, or do you want to set it up?
Well, right now this is the only microphone active, so it's not really showing. But it doesn't really matter. I think this is the guy we want to record.
Yeah, don't record me. Nobody cares about me. I've got the perfect face for radio, and my voice is well suited for mine. So that's why I volunteered to do this, because I want to torture people. So if anyone have any questions, anything, all right, then we will hand over to Arthur and let him rock and roll with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me talk about this interesting topic. So, this talk is a result of my hobby project. I started back in 2013, and I didn't spend much time, but in 2013 I've done one thing, later I've done another thing, and eventually this year I combined all things together to make them work. So at the end we'll see a demo how all this works, but let me tell you about what it's made of. So I'm using lots of different languages, and it's all running on CentOS Linux. One of the main things in my presentation will be Asterisk PBX, which is basically a software phone system. So you can, anyone familiar? Speak up. Oh, okay. So Asterisk is a phone system. You can build a corporate phone system and connect phones to make outgoing calls and talk to make calls within the network. So back in 2013, I was trying to solve a problem for myself because I used to travel overseas and I needed, I wanted to, my phone number to go with me wherever I go without using any roaming, you know. So if I'm in Europe and I have internet access, using Asterisk, I can make calls anywhere. Like I can call back home here for free. And anyone can call my number and reach me anywhere. So I started looking into different solutions and I found open source Asterisk platform, which is really amazing. There are many different solutions and also open source, but I like Asterisk because it's really simple to configure and extend. So that's one piece, and I'll explain later why I'm using Asterisk for this demo. Also, I'm using Go language, Perl, Shell, and JavaScript here. For the speech synthesis, there is a really good, I would say great framework built into macOS. And so basically you can use it to generate speech in many different languages. And you can use different voices. And we'll go through that. Also, I'm using PhantomJS and CasperJS headless WebKit frameworks to do some tricks with Google Translate. So going back to Asterisk, for those who doesn't know what it lets you do, you can have voicemail, conference calling, phone menus, which is IVR. So you can basically, you know, when you call like customer service somewhere, you usually get a menu. You have to press 1 to do this, or you have to press something else to do that. And this is all available in Asterisk, and it's so easy to set up. And I'll show you later. You can do code distributions, and you can write your own modules, and you know, configuration is really simple. PhantomJS and CasperJS, as I said, are headless WebKit frameworks. So what it does, you can run a script to interact with a website or with a web page, and it can parse some data. You can extract information from a web page. You can emulate like user navigation through the website, and it helps helps a lot in testing and automation. And these days, I discovered this two solutions a couple years ago, but these days you can find even more tools to do that. But I like that these tools because you use basic JavaScript to do the job. So CasperJS is basically a wrapper. It uses PhantomJS to simplify navigation through the pages. And I can show you the basic example would be, you can see we are creating this object, and then it navigates to the page and outputs the page title. And then after that, it will navigate to this page and output the title for this page, and you just run it, and you get output in your console. Pretty simple. More advanced example is when you let's say you can use CSS selector to extract links or URLs from a web page. In this example, it opens this website, and then it will run this function to basically return an array of links available on this page, and then it will output everything into a console. So for text translation, you can use several available options. You can use open source libraries, but you cannot get really good translation using something available on the internet. So I decided that I can use PhantomJS and CasperJS to actually go to Google Translate and insert any text in, and then grab output. So basically, it's using a free translation. I'm not saying you should do it for any project. It's just for my hobby research. So my goal was to, in a short period of time, build a functional system. So I've been using what's available, and this is the easiest way to get a reliable translation from any language to any language. And this is a screenshot produced by PhantomJS. So I can show you the code right here. So look here, what it does, it goes to translate Google.com mobile version, and I'm getting several parameters here from the console, like source language, or otherwise it's auto, target language, and then text. And these parameters are added to the URL, and then when the page loads, it will, you can see field selectors. It will find input on the page, this text area with ID source, and simply insert the text I'm passing from command line. And then it will click basically on a button to translate. And then it waits for another selector. You can see result container. And then it will fetch text from this tag with class translation. And you can see this echo will just output everything into console. And at the end, it will capture a screenshot just for debugging. Because for this to work, I don't really need a screenshot. But I can show you how it works in a moment.
so we can't see what you're doing, but that's something.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you. Just one moment.
This would be the time when the narrator comes on in a low voice saying, and our presenter is typing madly into the
So.
While we wait, maybe is anyone here that has worked with speech recognition stuff like that before?
On proprietary systems are nuanced. They're used by a lot of companies in my
Which one?
Nuance.
Nuance. So I want to add that basically Apple speech synthesis framework is based on Nuance. So it's available. Yes?
I've actually looked at the stuff in AWS.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious is why would you deploy locally if you can deploy globally? Is there a
Well,
case for doing this locally versus
I'm not running this locally. It's running actually in a private cloud, but it's not controlled by AWS. Basically, what I'm doing, I have a Mac Mini in a data center with a bunch of virtual machines on VMware. So it all works pretty well. I'll show you.
Can you increase the font?
Let me try.
Give you an idea how far things come. I worked on speech recognition back in the 60s in one of the first commercial applications. And the synthesizer, there's a company called Federal Screwworks, which I always thought was sort of an interesting name. And they had a synthesizer that it was phony by phony. Anybody else, it sounded terrible.
So here, this is the code I showed you in the previous slide. I'm going to translate this English text into French. So it works. So what it does, it runs on CentOS Linux. And it doesn't have any screen attached, doesn't have any browser installed, only PhantomJS and CasperJS. It does the job. It will load Google Translate, insert English text, and grab the translation.
So I noticed that you're using screen scraping. Why did you choose to do that and not use the API calls?
That's a good question. So that was just an experiment I did a long time ago, several years ago, while looking into PhantomJS. And of course, I can use the API And I will show you another example of Google Cloud API. But here, as I said before, I combined several projects, like research projects I worked on in the past together to make speech recognition, translation, and synthesis work together. So these are like different approaches. This is like a hacky approach, and for the one moment. For the speech synthesis, as I said, I'm using macOS framework, and basically it's all built into the system, and you have an API you can use to generate audio out of any text, and it works even on command line. Probably who uses Mac knows about this command called say. Can you see?
You may want to make it bigger.
So this command
Hello world.
will just speak anything. And using the framework, you can write an application and access the framework directly to generate speech out of probably 10 different languages. The way it works, you got your application, you got text, you send it to speech synthesis framework, and it will convert your text into either you can play it or convert to a file, and it's all built into Mac. So you can basically go to developer.com and find information about that. But looking at the site, I want to search Google, and I found this project, which is open source and written in Go, which has everything ready to use. And I can show you briefly. In a moment. So this is an open source project written in Go, and really simple. So right here you can see it imports this framework, a speech synthesis framework, and later in the code it lets you access the functions or methods available in the framework, and you basically get access to all the voices, all the languages. All you need to do is to go to your Mac settings into So you go to your Mac settings, speech, accessibility, speech, and then system voice, and you can customize and add all kind of languages and voices here. You can see they have a huge list. So it's free, because for like your hobby project using commercial software like Nuance will be very expensive. But here you can, for free, get all the features of this framework. And basically, this this project comes with a server, an API server, right here. So you can compile it and run it on your Linux or on your Mac as a service, and send text and get audio files back. And pretty simple. Pretty simple to use. It takes like 5 minutes to deploy using Go. Okay. For the speech recognition, there are several open source solutions. One of the solutions is Sphinx, or Sphinx, which is really a good solution, but it will take time to set things up. So, and it has support for several languages like German, Russian. It has license to, you can use, basically you can use the software for commercial purposes. And as I said, it will take time to learn this and set this up. So I decided to go with the cloud platform for speech recognition. It has even more languages, and it's in constant development, so you can get all the features out of the box. And you don't have to do anything. You just integrate it with your software, and you get all the latest updates and basically out of the box. And for the speech recognition, Google has SDKs for many different languages. I can show you. So one SDK is for C++. You get PHP here, and actually PHP is really simple to use. I mean, the example is really simple. So it has this library, and for the speech it has a set of classes. I didn't use PHP version because I decided to use Go to compile and use just a standalone executable to access Google API and send audio file and receive a text in return. So there are SDKs for Java, Python, something for Node.js. Even Ruby, .NET. Anyone using Go language? Easy to implement in your on Linux, I mean. And so I decided to put everything together and integrate this in Asterisk to demonstrate how you can make a phone call and speak in one language, and everything will get translated into another language. So the demo is really simple, and I'm going to show you. I can show you how it's all configured in Asterisk. So I'm using this SIP client, which lets me make calls using Asterisk. And so I want to show you how speech synthesis works. And think about this. I got Asterisk running on CentOS Linux. And then to generate speech, it makes API calls to Mac Mini computer and gets back an audio file and then converts into a format digestible by Asterisk and outputs everything. So first example would be so I got 088 extension for the time. How to say? So basically, it tells you current time in several languages, and it's all generated from text.
Current Eastern Time is 37 minutes a.m. Текущее время восточного побережья 10 часов 37 минут. Heure actuelle de l'Est est de 10h37 minutes.
So this is a very basic example how you can integrate text-to-speech into a phone system using just Mac Mini, and it can serve any phone network, like for your company or whatever. I'm using Asterisk, as I said, for myself. I have my phone numbers on Asterisk, and it's using SIP trunks to get incoming calls and outgoing calls. But I can also have multiple people on my network, and all the calls within the network are encrypted. And for example, I have a phone at home. I can call my home, and the call will be completely encrypted. No one can tamper and get what's going on the phone. So another example would be actually speech translation and recognition translation, and then synthesis. So, and I really want someone to come and say something like a sentence or a phrase.
Looking for volunteer?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to volunteer?
Oh, I'll volunteer.
Just for the scratch.
Do I have to speak into a microphone, or do I just stand here?
Speak to the computer. Let me dial the number first.
Welcome to AI-powered translation panel. Your language is set to English. Please select your destination language. 1 for French, 2 for Italian, 3 for German, 4 for Russian.
Which language would you? Russian?
Russian?
Okay, 4.
To the tone, record your message.
Hello, computer. I'm the sucker who volunteered.
Nice accent there.
Your message in Russian is
Let's try something more complex. Maybe someone else wants to.
Oh, come on.
Can it translate from a different language to English?
It can translate from 100 languages, but
tone, record your message.
my demo is set to translate from English to 4 other languages. So, anyone?
Okay, he volunteered. That's all I
Okay.
I don't know what to say. All right, I'll try something.
To
Seasonal, I guess.
which language?
What?
Which language?
I guess English to what languages? Russian, Spanish.
French, Italian, German, Russian.
We'll go Italian.
Okay. Oh, wait, I forgot the number. Let me redial.
We'll try this one. It'll be interesting.
Hello, Linux user group. Welcome to AI-powered translation demo. Your language is set to English. Please select your destination language. 1 for French, 2 for Italian, 3 for German.
Okay, 2.
After the tone, record your
What I
message.
speak into. Santa Claus is coming to town. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Your message was,
Santa Claus is coming to tell you better watch out. You better not cry, you better not cry. I'm telling you why Santa Claus is coming to town.
your message in Italian is, Babbo Natale sta venendo a dirti che stai attento. Farai meglio a non piangere. Meglio non fare il broncio. Ti sto dicendo perché Babbo Natale sta arrivando.
Watch someone.
Does it know the word Santa Claus? I didn't hear the phrase Santa Claus. So they're trying to
Oh, that's
translate
probably
that.
because there's a Italian word.
Yeah, there is something else. Yeah. I don't know. I cannot tell.
translated it into Santa Claus.
After the tone, record your message.
No. So this is really basic setup, and it takes like 1 month. It takes like to build all this from scratch. If you know how to use all the tools, it takes about 4 hours to put everything together, and including Asterisk installation and using PhantomJS and Google Cloud API. It's really simple. So you can build really a complex system, and you can even translate, speech, live speech, because Google speech recognition API allows you to stream speech, and it will stream text back. So you can technically build a system to have a phone call where one person speaks one language, another person speaks another language, and they will understand each other.
Already exists on the phone. For tourism, go out, talk into it, and it will repeat back in the other language that you set up, and when they speak, it tells you back in your language.
Yeah.
Based on the same algorithm.
Yeah.
So, some things will not work.
Something what?
Some things will not work. Like there are languages, there's cultural references and so on that these translators are having a hard time with.
Mm-hmm.
But tourism stuff, asking, going and ordering your meal at the restaurant, yeah, it exists.
Yeah, it can do the job pretty well.
Really nice.
So, yes?
Yeah, so for the demo we just did, how much of it was locally? Did you access the Google APIs at all?
Yeah,
For the translation?
not for the translation, for the speech recognition.
Okay, and then on your prompt when you initially dialed in, was that something you programmed, or is that part of the library?
Yeah, I did that. I'll show you in a moment. So, yeah, it's really simple to do in Asterisk plan. And let me show you how it works. Let me open it for you to see. Can you see?
If you can make it a little bigger, I think people in the back can see it.
So this is called a dial plan, and you can see it's a really simple configuration. A call comes in, it will answer, it will play back silence. Silence is needed because there is a little delay for the connection to get established. So that, because if you don't do silence in the beginning, you may not hear like few words. So then it will this script gets executed, which will send an API call to Mac, and TTS means text to speech. So it will generate speech using Susan voice in Mac settings and play back the audio. So it will tell you all this, and then it gives you options to press 1, 2, or 3, or 4 to pick your language. And right here, you tell it to wait for an extension, and then it will go to the extension you picked. For example, for French, it sets a variable to FR, language to French, voice to Amelie, and then sends you back to recording. This is a label. You can go to labels in Asterisk. Simple, like basic language, right? But it doesn't have line numbers. It has, these labels. So right here, you get record command. So whatever you say will be recorded to a file with this format, because Google Speech Recognition API supports several audio formats. And what's good about Asterisk or voice over IP telephony, that ULAW is like one of the most common codecs to compress audio, and the same codec is used by Google Speech API, Speech Recognition API. So you basically record your message, and then I have a shell script which will execute, will submit your audio file to Google and get text recognized back from Google. And you simply play back what is that?
Yes, it writes into a different direction. Right?
Playback. Oh no, it's commented. You can see. So then it will say, it will tell what you just said using this voice, and then it will execute another script to translate text from English into the language you said, and again it will say the translation using different voice, different language, and then it basically waits for 20 seconds and goes back to recording, unless you press a button. So that's all simple, It takes like, I don't know, 40 lines to set this up in Asterisk. And in the very beginning of this configuration file, you can see this internal dial plan. It means you can dial these numbers internally on the phone system, and 077 number just takes you to the demo, the IVR menu. Right here. So simple. So any questions? Yeah.
Right? I mean, Asterisk doesn't have to be limited to phones. It's right. It could be.
You can replace Asterisk with anything. It's just, you know, for this demo, I used Asterisk because I already have it in place, and it's easy for me to, you know, put all this into Asterisk. But you can do it for anything. You can, instead of using Alexa or I don't know what else is popular now, you can build your own system for your home and do things. And by the way, another cool thing, you can also, like in the next level, you can use API.ai. This API allows you to use machine learning for free. And what you can do, you can build your own Alexa using this. And so that will be my next step to play with and try using voice. But I mean, it's not hard to learn. It's like very user-friendly these days. You just need to know some programming language and, you know, read through the docs and you can build a lot of cool things. Yes?
How much computing power do you need to do this? I gotta do my one on my old iPhone.
Yeah, you don't need much. Like it can run on one CPU, 1 gig of memory. Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much once in your phone, whether you have an iPhone or an Android, there's text recognition already. A couple of years ago, my wife discovered that she can talk to the phone and get it to make the text messages for her. She hasn't typed since. Do you get strange messages sometimes?
I mean, just the text autocorrect will make it strange too.
I think one of the things that's important is recognize the value of voice interaction. It really is amazing. I was at reInvent last week, and I would say 20% of their focus is voice first, and there's a reason for it. And I'll give you a very good example. Yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's that ubiquity of availability, meaning I want to do something, I got to go find the machine, or I got to find my tablet, or I got to find my phone, all of my phone, my phone, my pocket. But the idea that you can just sit there and say something, have it pick it up, recognize it, and take some action, and that's really what this is doing, is that it's recognizing and taking an action. The action in this case is speech. But once you get used to that action, it becomes way more natural than anything else. And if you have somebody who uses a device, either they can't disable or just physically can't do it for some reason, that voice interaction becomes natural, but it is one of the things you have to think about. It's very interesting to work on some voice interaction models. When you do Alexa skill work, it sounds easy. That first step is easy, but then the real world becomes harder. And a very good example is I was at one of the workshops one night, and it was 9 at night, and I was getting tired. And I was working on a skill in the workshop that I had done, and I was starting to forget how to interact with the thing. And it was a very interesting example of forgetting the syntax or whatever, and it caused you to put more effort in it. But the value is significant because eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to interact by voice with most of the things that you do right now with your finger by swiping or typing or whatever. Instead, you're just going to say it, and the thing itself is going to say, all right, I'll do what you want me to do this time.
Is there long enough to see starts with the workshop?
One of the most fascinating things to share about this. I was at a AI conference about Google, and I met this guy who had a company that's starting to big parser, which is being funded by Amazon, and they're doing Alexa skills. And I started saying, oh, there's so many use cases. You could have a waitress be your, you go to a table and have the waitress be a Google device. He looks at me and just goes, future money. And I said, oh, you have a bank teller, you know, future money. You have a reception agent, you know, he goes, future money, future money. I looked at him and said, why do you keep saying future money? And he goes, that's not where it is now. Where it is now is branding. And I was like, what? And he said, think of all the Alexas we have out there already. Imagine a television commercial. At the end of the television commercial, it's an advertisement for Joe Blasi for Senate. At the end of the commercial, say, enable skill Joe Blasi for Senate and ask me my positions. And then at the end of the commercial, you say, and then also television shows, like, he says the branding is to get all the celebrities and stuff like that to start making this their new Twitter. And it's the new voice network. Big thing, here's the killer on all this. Amazon wants this desperately because, and I half agree with this because you could all see the same whole fallacy in this argument, but it would, Amazon would know,